Well, fans, we welcome you into York, Pennsylvania. We had our stream up, but it went down, so we restarted our stream and unfortunately missed the first batter of the game. They got underway a little bit early here in York as Jack Sundberg was a strikeout victim, went down looking. The pitch to Raul Shah is up and in. And the count 1-1 strike on the righty. We also had a chance to catch up with Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn before the game. We'll play some of that interview shortly. That'll be in between innings. We'll get a chance to play some of that interview for you. As the 1-1 pitch, that's away. Count 2-1 strike. We're going to run you through the Blue Crabs starting lineup as well as the Revs defensive alignment and the starting pitcher, Eduardo Rivera. 2-1 pitch, up and in the count 3-1. Well, it's a terrific night for baseball. Maybe a little bit hot, but all things considered, it's pretty darn nice. And the 3-1, big swing and a miss, count 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Temperatures at game time here, 85 in York, Pennsylvania. As the 3-2 pitch on the ground over to third base. Gathered by Herrera. He fires to first in time to get Raul Shah. And there are 2 away. And here comes Braxton Lee as the Blue Crabs and the Revs remain scoreless with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Let's run through the starting lineup when we got a moment. Jack Sundberg led things off. He struck out looking. Raul Shah grounded out to third base. Braxton Lee, he bats third. He's in right field. Pitch, line drive, well struck over to the third base side. And the count 0-1. Joe DeLuca is in the cleanup spot. Alex Crosby bats fifth. Zach Collier in the 6th hole. Jared Walker back in the lineup tonight. He bats 7th as the 0-1 pitch is inside. Count 1-1. It's Matt Hibbert who bats 8th, and Michael Baca bats 9th. And the 1-1 pitch, that's a called strike. Count 1-2, barely clips the outside corner as Marty Hassenfuss on the call. Your umpires tonight, Hassenfuss behind home plate. It's Doug McFarling at first, and Dave Shirk at third. Pitch, swing and a miss, breaking ball from Rivera. It's about as strong of an inning as we've seen in a while from a starting pitcher. 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts and a ground out, and that ends the top of the first inning. When we come back, the Revs will come to the plate. In the meantime, let's take a listen to some of that interview with Stan Clyburn. Well, it's time for the Manager's Show with Stan Clyburn as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs won last night's game 5-4 over the York Revolution. But Stan, it's a much-needed win after this team was struggling a little bit in its past 5 games.
Well, I think a lot. It's not that we hadn't been playing good baseball. 500 baseball we've played over the last 10 games, and I think over the last 20 we're at 500 or 11-10, somewhere right there. But you know, I looked last night's lineup. 4 of our regular starters were not even in the lineup. Wylinski's out with a finger. Hope to get back soon. And Hogg with a hairline. We don't know if it's fractured with what's going on with his foot. Hopefully not. We'll find out today on the MRI. And then Walker was out sick last night. And of course, Harris has got a little hip flexor he's dealing with. So, you know, when you talk to those 4 guys, they've been pretty good all year. And the only thing I can say is it gives opportunities for the other guys, and they've been holding their own. Hibbert's getting to play more. Shaw, Yesko, Falsetti, all these guys are getting to play more. And, you know, it takes everybody. I said all along, it takes everybody to be out there on the pitching side of it. Matt Latos has only pitched 1 game in the last, 21, 22 days, and we've really missed him. But, Bryce Sendell's closing it out. I think Dyksher's going to help us a lot. So it's just a team that's going through a lot of injuries and a little spell in the year that, you got to get through it. And we're keeping our head above water, and hopefully we continue to do that and get strong for the playoff push.
Well, let's talk about a couple of the guys you just mentioned who are getting a little bit more playing time. Yetzko had an 11-pitch at bat last night. He picks up the hit. And Hibbert, another guy who's been really consistent over this last stretch.
Well, Matt Hibbert, I told him the other day, just be patient with me and you'll get some at-bats, and it looks like he's getting that now. And, this guy, we signed him last year, him and Michael Baca, both of those guys turned his whole team around last year. And I'll never forget that. We were really struggling to start the first half last year. The first month, we were struggling bad. And I went out and signed these two guys, and they turned the whole team around. So, with that being said, I remember that. Baca's done a good job defensively this year at short. He's not hitting as well as he did last year, but what he does out there at shortstop makes up for that. And, of course, Hibbert always stays ready and always a guy's going to contribute no matter what role you put him in. So those are the kind of guys you got to have on the team. I mean, Yetzko's done well. Him and Shaw, I think I'm going to let them fight it out, see who wants that second base job when Wylinski's out, for at least 2 more weeks. So, again, it's a chance for opportunity for all the guys, and they're getting that opportunity. And
well, you got an opportunity to listen to some of that interview with Stan Clyburn. We'll have more from that interview at the end of the first inning, but for now it's JC Encarnacion who steps in against Alcis Herrera. And here is the first pitch from Herrera. It's a check swing, a little bit low on the count, 1 ball and no strikes. We're going to run you around the Blue Crabs defensive alignment as well as the York Revolution starting lineup in just one moment. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Herrera. Swing and a foul tip. The count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, let's start with the starting lineup for the Revs. It's JC Encarnacion who leads off. Elmer Reyes bats second. Telvin Nash in the 3 spot. He's the DH tonight. Nelly Rodriguez is the cleanup hitter. Melky Mesa bats 5th. He batted 3rd last night. Troy Stokes Jr. in the 6th spot. Pitch a little bit low and away, and the count 2-1. Batting 7, it's Jeffrey Perez. The 8-hitter is John Nunez. He's doing the catching in place of Lenin Rodriguez. And Josue Herrera bats 9th. He's at 3rd base. 2-1 pitch. Up and away. Count 3-1. Now defensively for the Blue Crabs around the diamond, Jack Sundberg, the DH, so he's not in the field today. He did lead things off for the Blue Crabs. It's Hibbert in left, Collier in center, and Lee in right. At 3rd base, Alex Krause, Michael Baca at short, as the 3-1 pitch is a called strike on the inside corner, count 3-2. And Raul Shah at 2nd base. Over at 1st base, Jared Walker. Joe DeLuca does the catching for Alcis Herrera. Pitch. That's a foul ball down the 3rd baseline. Alcis Herrera is making his 4th appearance with the Blue Crabs tonight. He's pitched 3 2/3 innings across his first 3 appearances. Allowed 4 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 3. 3-2 pitch, popped up foul back behind home plate. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Herrera, the lefty. Has already thrown 7 pitches to JC Encarnacion. Pitch called, strike 3, breaking ball. Falls in there for strike 3, and there's 1 away. Well, Herrera's not going to blow you away with his velocity. His fastball is upper 80s. 87, he might touch 88. But he throws a lot of strikes. He's going to attack batters. And he picks up the strikeout. There is 1 away. The first pitch misses a little low and in to Elmer Reyes. The count, 1 ball and no strikes. It's really a tale of 2 different pitchers in this outing. pitch, ground ball. A sliding stop by Walker at first. The flip to Herrera's in time for the out. 2 up and 2 down for Alcides Herrera. Going back to Eduardo Rivera, the pitcher for the York Revolution. You got Rivera, who will throw as hard as 96. He'll touch 97 and 98 as well. A power pitcher who is a righty as well, and he goes up against a lefty who does not throw very hard, and Herrera just in the mid to upper 80s. So 2 very different pitchers you're working with tonight. First pitch from Herrera on the 3-hitter. Telvin Nash is a called strike on the inside corner, and the count 0-1. This ball game scoreless between the Blue Crabs and the York Revolution in the bottom of the first inning. 0-1, breaking ball, and he falls for it. The count 0-2. It was low in the dirt, well out of the strike zone. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. It's the same pitch that he got a strikeout on JC Encarnacion. 0-2. That's in the dirt, trying to get Telvin Nash to chase that time, but he wouldn't go after it. One ball and 2 strikes on Telvin Nash. Herrera, the 1-2. That's low in the dirt. Nicely blocked by DeLuca on the count 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Telvin Nash at the plate. Here's the 2-2. Called strike 3. A pair of strikeouts bookend the bottom of the first inning with a ground out mixed in between. Does it sound familiar? It's the same thing that happened in the top of the first inning. Well, Herrera picks up a pair of strikeouts, and that ends the bottom of the first inning. We're scoreless from Peoples Bank Park. Let's take a little listen to some more of that interview from Stan Clyburn.
Long season presents itself, and it's here, and hope they make the most of it.
You also mentioned the bullpen earlier. You talked about how Latos has not been available recently. They've gone back to Briseño, and now James Dykstra is added into this mix. How are things looking next week or so with this bullpen?
Well, Dykstra, like last night, will come in for that 8th inning, and Briseño becomes the closer now that Latos is out. He's still experiencing a little tenderness in an elbow, and we're really concerned on that. Baker's been good down there. He did miss about 10 days with a elbow flare-up, and, Wells missed 2 weeks with a little flare-up in his shoulder. So, it's been a makeshift bullpen down there. And I think the games that we have lost here, the last 20 going 11-10, I think 8 of those 10 games that we did lose, it wasn't because of the starter didn't do his job. It was the bullpen that didn't finish the job off. And, and that shows when you don't have a full strength down there. But again, starting pitching's been outstanding. You got Darrell Thompson, who's consistent all year with 12 wins. Eddie Butler got his 11th win last night. Mackenzie Mills left here to go to Mexico with 9 wins, and of course Lamson's got 6 complete games on the year with the Atlantic League. The closest to him is only 2 complete games. So that shows you he gives you the honest effort out there every time he goes out. And, but, hey, again, it takes everybody, 27-man roster. All 27 guys are getting opportunities, and as long as they got that uniform on, they have a chance, and they're going to have a chance with this team.
Well, you mentioned 4 of the starting pitchers who have played a big role for the Blue Crabs this year. Top of the second inning in a scoreless ball game. As Joe DeLuca comes to the plate, the first pitch, swinging a foul ball, third base side. Long run for the third baseman, Josue Herrera, who's not going to get there. And the count 0-1. Joe DeLuca will be followed by Alex Crosby and Zach Collier here in the second. Pitch, line drive into center field. It's a base hit. And Joe DeLuca gets things started in the top of the second with a single to center. And there's one on with nobody out. Joe DeLuca homered yesterday. He has not hit all that much from the left side. Had 3 at-bats yesterday from the left side, was 1 for 3 with the home run. Did have 1 at-bat from the right side against a left-handed pitcher last night. And Crosby squares around a bunt, bunts foul, third base side. The count, no balls and 1 strike on Alex Crosby. Some more velocity numbers there. Herrera has topped out today at 87.4. Rivera at 96.0. He's heavily reliant upon that fastball. The pitch, big wave and a miss. And the count 0-2 on another fastball that he blows by Alex Crosby. Rivera's thrown 16 fastballs, just 2 changeups. The changeups in the mid-80s, the fastballs are mid-90s. Pitch, that's upstairs, count 1-2. And it is surprising we really haven't seen a breaking ball yet. We have the 2 changeups. But I think that basically everything else has been fastball, means you can sit 1 pitch. 1-2. Ground ball through the right side for a base hit. DeLuca rounds second, but he pulls on the brakes as Ray Ortega, the third base coach, puts up the stop sign. Back-to-back singles for the Blue Crabs. There are runners on first and second with nobody out. Zach Collier will be followed by Jared Walker in the top of the second inning. The Blue Crabs don't have Mike Falsetti in the lineup. It's Jared Walker who's on deck, who replaces Falsetti. Walker at first. DeLuca was at first yesterday, now in that catching spot. And the first pitch. That's away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Top of the second inning, no score. The Blue Crabs have 2 on and nobody out, though. Leadoff single up the middle from Joe DeLuca. Crosby followed him with a base hit to right. 1-0 pitch. Called strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Rivera had a terrific first inning, 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts, but he has faltered here in the second. And the pitch, that's up and away. And the count 2 balls and a strike. Well, fans, we're happy you joined us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network this evening. Blue skies overhead as the Blue Crabs look for back-to-back wins and a series win as the 2-1 pitch is low and in, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Let's give you a little more information on Eduardo Rivera, the starting pitcher for the York Revolution. Across 79 2/3 innings, Rivera with 68 strikeouts and 56 walks. That's a lot of walks across 76 innings. You're looking at about 6 to 7 walks per 9 innings, and that's too high. A 5.08 ERA and a 1.5 whip. Pitch swing, a high fly ball. That one drilled to right, but it's foul, as that ball certainly had home run distance. But foul down that right field line, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch was hanging over the heart of the plate. And Collier crushed it, but crushed it foul. It's been all fastballs here in this at-bat to Collier. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a high pop-up in the infield. It's the pitcher, Eduardo Rivera, who makes the catch despite the fact that Josue Herrera came charging in. Oh my, that was almost a terrible collision. As Eduardo Rivera said, that's my ball. Josue Herrera said, I want that ball. I think it's best that the third baseman will grab it, but Rivera was under it. He felt confident. He made the catch, and the third baseman, Josue Herrera, was there and almost stole it from him. Unless that was Jeffrey Perez, I don't think it was Perez. It looked from my vantage point, it was Herrera. But Perez came in and they had a brief conversation afterwards, so maybe it was Perez. But it looked from my vantage point as though it was Herrera. Either way, one away in the top of the second inning. 2 on, 1 out pitch. That's inside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. And if Rivera starts to struggle with control, we haven't seen that yet. He has not walked a batter. Fell behind in 1 count, 3-1. He now has the first ball thrown to Jared Walker. That could impact his ability to go deep into this ball game. Pitch, hard line drive right at the first baseman, Nelly Rodriguez, who catches it, sprinted to the bag, and oh my, Joe DeLuca way off the base. And that ends the top of the second inning. I thought the Blue Crabs might have evaded trouble with a double play as Jared Walker roped one to first. Rodriguez caught the ball. He looked at first base. There was no play as Alex Crosby was close to the bag, but he fired to second, and Joe DeLuca was most of the way to third base. He thought the ball must have bounced, and either way, that ends the second inning as Walker lines into a double play. Well, at the end of an inning and a half, it's the Blue Crabs nothing. It's the Revs nothing. Let's take a listen to a little more of that interview from Stan Clyburn. How about the other two? Let's start with Alex Merrithew, who's had a really big pickup last few weeks especially, and he's leading this team as well.
That guy is the most biggest surprise of this whole team. We signed him out of a tryout camp in spring training, and he's been a godsend. I mean, he's, started out in the pen, was buried down in the bullpen down there. It was pretty good. Really never got an opportunity. Stayed with his program. The hardest worker on the team, no doubt. He's got a strenuous workout program that he sticks by and is paying off for him. Now, we made the transition when Denson Hull was not pitching well. We traded him off and put Merrithew in there, and he's taken off since. Seems like he goes out there and gets to the 7th, 8th inning every outing, the last 5 or 6 outings. He pounds the zone. He works fast. He goes after guys. Guys love playing defense behind him because he's quick to the plate. Again, his rhythm, his mound presence is awesome. So he's been a real good addition to the starting rotation. And then tonight we got Herrera, who's gonna have a spot start over Cook tonight. Cook's going back to the bullpen. Cookie and I had a little talk about his presence on the mound's been slow, hadn't been throwing strikes. So I'm gonna let him sit back and watch a little bit. And Herrera's gonna get that start. He's a guy that I've seen films on over the course of the year. Over in Mexico that he was pitching that I like what I saw. Joe DeLuca played with him a lot in Panama this past winter. So this guy's a winner, man. He likes to go out and compete. He's very confident. Picked up a big save for us over in High Point.
Well, you heard just moments ago that Stan Clyburn had a chance to watch some film on Herrera. Also knows that Joe DeLuca played some baseball with him down in Panama. Has had 3 appearances thus far with the Blue Crabs and makes his 4th tonight. And the pitch is away for ball 1 to get things started against Nelly Rodriguez. Well, Alcides Herrera, the pitch called strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Had a 1-2-3 first inning. A pair of strikeouts and a ground out to first base. Here's the 1-1. Called ball. Looked pretty close. Maybe a little below the knees, and the count 2-1. It is sometimes a little bit tough to tell from this angle as the umpire blocks a lot of the vision as it crosses home plate. As the 2-1 pitch is low. 3 balls, 1 strike. Nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. Here is the 3-1 pitch. Line drive foul. The count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Scoreless ball game in the bottom of the second. Meanwhile, for Alcides Herrera, he made 1 appearance in Mexico this year. Pitched just 2/3 of an inning. And allowed 4 runs. 3-2. That's low. It's in the dirt, and it's ball 4. And the runner on first base with nobody out. His time with the Blue Crabs has not been that way, though. Allowed only 4 hits over the course of now 4 2/3 innings. That was his first walk with the Blue Crabs. Just his second walk in any game this year. Herrera pitched in Gastonia last season, had a 1-5 record, a 6.59 earned run average. Again, played with Joe DeLuca in Panama, so it makes sense that DeLuca is doing the catching for Herrera tonight. I'd imagine if Herrera stays in this rotation, even if Haug is back, he'd probably start. Pitch on the ground to third, on a second for 1, back on a first, not in time. That was a good sprint from Troy Stokes Jr., who beat that ball out down the first base line on a rather hard hit ground ball to third base. Looked like it might be a 5-4-3 double play, but a tough play for Raul Shah as he's staring directly into the sun as Crosby fired it from third base to second base. As Melky Mesa grounds out. Well, the shadows still playing a role in the middle infield. Over at first base, the Shadows have gotten past first, so Jared Walker probably will not run into trouble with them again today. Pitch to Troy Stokes Jr. Called strike. That's on the outer half, and the count 0-1. Melky Mesa on first base, following the fielder's choice. The pitch, this one, swinging a high fly ball, left field rather deep. Now Hibbert goes back, now comes in, now goes back again and makes the catch for the second out. He may have lost that one temporarily, but he manages to make the catch either way for the second out. And Collier joking with Hibbert a little bit. I think Hibbert lost it for a moment as Troy Stokes Jr. hit that ball into left field and rather deep for the second out. And here comes Jeffrey Perez. Now they got that arch nemesis wall in left. It is the tallest wall in all of baseball, but very short as far as the distance from home plate. 300 down the line, and to left center it's probably only about 335 or so. In some ways similar to the Reagan Waldorf as far as the short distance to left. Pitch, that one's in the dirt, blocked by Joe DeLuca. Jeffrey Perez remains at first base. Or I beg your pardon. It's Melky Mesa who remains at first. Jeffrey Perez at the plate, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Two outs in the bottom of the second inning. The Blue Crabs nothing, the Revs nothing. The Blue Crabs have 2 hits. The Revs still looking for their first hit. Herrera the 1-0. Swing and a miss, count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Perez. We had a chance to talk with manager Stan Clyburn before the game today. We're playing that interview in between innings tonight. We can hear the final part of that interview at the conclusion of the 2nd inning. 1-1, check swing, did he go? Over at first base, Doug McFarling said yes, he did. Count 1-2. The home plate umpire, Marty Hasselfuss, actually motioned to the third base umpire, Dave Shirk, who did not respond to his request for an appeal. And so he said, oh, it's the first base umpire against righties. So wanted to see what Doug McFarling has to say. McFarling says that's a strike. And the count 1-2. Runner on first, 2 outs for the Revs. Pitch, swinging a line drive, hard hit, third base side foul. Breaking ball. And Alcides Herrera let that pitch out over the heart of the plate. And Perez was way out in front of it. And the count remains 1-2. That's a pitch that a lot of really good hitters are going to take advantage of, but Perez was way out in front of it. Couldn't hold back after he started the swing a little early. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Jeffrey Perez down on strikes to end the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the Blue Crabs and the Revs remain scoreless at the end of 2. For Alcides Herrera, it's his 3rd strikeout of the day. He's allowed just 1 base runner via a walk. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. It's the Blue Crabs nothing and the Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Check out the first step.
He's come in some clutch games and pitched well, and I like the way he goes about his business, so we'll see what he does tonight.
You mentioned it's a spot start. Do you expect him to go 5+ innings or so, or is this a game where we might see a lot of bullpen tonight?
Well, I hope he goes 5. You know, that keeps our DH in the game, and you know, with the double hook rule, you hope the starter goes 5. So we're going to shoot from 5. If he can get there, it'll be awesome. If he can go 6, that'll be great also. But this young man's ready to go. He's excited about it, and he wants the ball, and I look for a big outing out of him tonight.
Only a few weeks left in the season now. What are some of the keys you're looking for down the stretch this year?
Well, health is number 1. You know, I pray every night that health comes to these guys, because I know, you know, it's tough to go out on the field when you're not completely healthy, and it's not fun playing when you got aches and pains. And we are a little beat up right now, but you know, we got time to let those guys get healthy, because, like I said, we won that first half, which is always good. It puts you in, but you know, we're not going to satisfy on that. We're not going to lay down on that. We want to win the second half. We know that that's bragging rights, so to speak, for winning both halves. Obviously, you still got to play a team to get into the finals, best 3 out of 5 in that semifinal round. But you know, having the prestige saying you win in both halves means a lot. I know Gastoni on the other side over there, they're tearing up that second half like they did the first half. So, you know, it's a bragging right thing. But the main thing that I wish for our team here within the next 2 weeks, before those last 2 weeks in the playoffs start, that health be on their side, and hopefully that's just right around the corner for us.
No score on the top of the 3rd inning. The first pitch just a little bit outside to Matt Hibbert. And if you were listening to that interview we had in between innings there, pitch, ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Matt Hibbert picks up a leadoff single in the top of the 3rd inning. And there's a runner on first with nobody out. And Stan Clyburn was talking about the importance of getting this team healthy. And he mentioned earlier in that interview 4 players in the lineup last night who were out. Blue Crabs get 1 of them back tonight, but Ryan Haug remains out. Michael Wolanski also remains out of this lineup. Yesterday, Jared Walker was out. A toss over to first base to check on Matt Hibbert. And of course, David Harris, the designated hitter, also out. So the 4 of them were out of the lineup last night. Blue Crabs get Walker back tonight, but Harris still out. Wolanski still out, Haug still out. And I'm not sure any of them are going to be back in the lineup in the next few days. As the pitch in there for a called strike on Michael Baca. And the count 0-1. In the interview with Stan Clybert, he mentioned as far as the second base situation is concerned, he discussed how Yetzko and Shaw will fight it out for the next 2 weeks. That's probably the timetable for Wolanski to return. Pitch. Called strike on Michael Baca on the count 0-2. And Matt Hibbert, a guy who's really stepped up here. Seen his batting average rise from the 190s to the 220s. Pitch, popped it up foul, first base side out of play. As he gets things started with a single in the top of the third inning. In that 8 spot tonight. Hibbert followed by Baca and, or beg your pardon, Baca followed by Sundberg and Shaw. 0-2 pitch. Low and in, count 1-2. So Hibbert got the inning started, ground ball to left field. Blue Crabs have 3 hits on the day so far, a trio of singles. DeLuca and Crosby single. And Hibbert with the ground ball to left field. The pitch, check swing, did he go? They motioned to first, and Doug McFarling said no, he did not. Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Dave Shirk, the third base umpire tonight, was the home plate umpire last night. As the 2-2 pitch up and away, count 3-2. I think by and large he did a decent enough job, but there were some calls, especially in the 7th inning, where he missed a couple. The count could easily have been 2-2, and instead it was a 4-pitch walk issued by Eddie Butler. Here is the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive, center field straight away. Hibbert realized that ball is going to get caught in center, and he has to scamper back to the bag as Troy Stokes Jr. makes the catch, and there's one away. And Jack Sundberg will come to the plate. Sundberg 0 for 1 today. He's got that 25-game on-base streak going. Had some pretty good numbers during that on-base streak. Not crazy, but good numbers. He has a 300 batting average, a 398 on-base percentage across that 25-game on-base streak. Pitch, a little bit outside, and the count 1-0. Sometimes you'll have somebody go through a streak like that, and you'll see a batting average near 400, on-base percentage up over 500, and those were numbers that Sundberg had earlier this year. 1-0 pitch, low and away, count 2-0. So the number is not where they were toward the beginning of the year, where Sundberg had an on-base percentage north of 600 for the first few weeks. But still has played an effective role. Runner goes, 2-0 pitch upstairs, throw down to second is in time. Hibbert caught stealing. A terrific throw from John Nunez to get Matt Hibbert. Hibbert was 9 for 9 in stolen bases coming in. Make that 9 for 10 as he's caught trying to put a runner in scoring position. Either way, the count 3-0 now on Sundberg. It's an interesting call to steal on a 2-0. 3-0 pitch, up and in. Jack Sundberg walks. That's important because he extends his on-base streak to 26 games. And Raul Shaw will come to the plate. So instead of having first and second with 1 out, you've got a runner on first with 2 outs. Shaw 0 for 1. He grounded to third base his first time up. And the first pitch. Swing and a miss. The count 0-1. Top of the third inning. The Blue Crabs nothing. The Revs nothing. Blue Crabs no runs on 3 hits. York no runs on no hits. 0-1 pitch. Runner goes. Throw down a second into center field. Sundberg thought about going but decided to pull on the brakes before going to third base. So he stays at second despite the fact the throw went into center. The pitch was a strike though. And it's the count 0-2 now on Shaw, but a runner in scoring position for the Blue Crabs. And in a game across the first 3 innings where maybe you recognize this is not a game you're going to be scoring 6-7 runs in. It might be worth playing some small ball. You never really know what's going to happen later in this ball game. And the pitch, that's low in the dirt. The count 1-2. Eduardo Rivera really has stuck with just his changeup in the fastball. I would have thought he'd have a real breaking pitch there, but he doesn't. Changeup 82 to 85, fastball 91 to 96. 1-2 to Shaw. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, he's making it work with just 2 pitches as he strikes out Raul Shaw to end the top of the third inning. He strands 1. The Blue Crabs had 1 hit. They had 1 walk, but Matt Hibbert was caught stealing second base, and that ends the top of the third inning. The end of 2.5 innings of play. It's the Blue Crabs and the Revs who are scoreless on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the third inning, the Blue Crabs and the Revs are scoreless as John Nunez gets things started. And the Revs will send 8, 9, and 1 to the plate. Nunez, Herrera, and Encarnacion against Herrera. Pitch. That's low and in. Count 1-0. Josue Herrera will go up against Alcis Herrera. The battle of the Herreras, a pair of lefties. And the pitch, ground ball foul, third base side, count 1-1. Let's get to some of the shout-outs in our YouTube chat. And the pitch, foul ball, third base side, and the count 1-2. Multi-Apples said should be a good game. I agree, Multi-Apples. That's his traditional comment. We usually hear the same thing from him. Merrily Grace says let's go Blue Crabs. And the 1-2 pitch. Line drive, left field. Hibbert took a step in, now steps back, reaches up and makes the catch. And there's one away. Now a little bit of a tough time playing one back in the second inning and has a little trouble there as well, but he makes the grab nonetheless. And 2 up and 2 down, or 1 up and 1 down. As far as Hibbert is concerned, he's played 2 balls. For him, it's been 2 up and 2 down. But just 1 away in the bottom of the third inning. Let's get back to some of those comments. Alfredo Mendoza says, let's go Blue Crabs. Matt Hopeful also says, let's go Blue Crabs. And the pitch. Foul tip. And the count 0-1. On Josue Herrera, who goes up against Alcides Herrera. Now Alfredo Mendoza says, are you posting the whole interview with Stan Kleiber? We were playing it in between innings. As the 0-1 pitch, big wave and a miss, count 0-2. The situation there, we normally play those interviews pregame. But today we had an issue with the broadcast cutting out pregame, so we had to restart the broadcast, so I decided to play that in between innings. I think from here on out, we're going to play those pregame interviews in between innings as well. Count 0, the 0-2 pitch, that's in there for a called strike 3. Herrera gets a slider past Josue Herrera. And now it is 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom of the third inning. Herrera down looking. And here comes JC Encarnacion. And the first pitch, swing and a miss, count 0-1. Bottom of the third inning. Blue Crabs nothing, Revs nothing. JC Encarnacion, who struck out back in the first inning. As the count 0-1 for now, and Encarnacion calls time at the last moment, and it is granted by Marty Hasenfuss. A scoreless ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Blue Crabs have 3 hits to show for it. York does not have any right now. 0-1, check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, and the count 0-2. The home plate umpire made the call that time around. I think it was pretty clear. The home plate umpire can call it if it's clear. The issue was that on Sunday, when the Blue Crabs lost, Zach Collier had a check swing. It wasn't clear. And now the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Encarnacion down, swinging. Another strikeout for Alcides Herrera. That's number 5 across 3 innings. We'll finish that last story in just here before we go to break. As we talked about it moments ago, Zach Collier had a check swing in that game on Sunday, and the home plate umpire called him out on strikes on it. Collier later talked to the third base umpire who would have gotten the appeal. He said he didn't go. So that's when it becomes an issue, and the home plate umpire calls a check swing when it's not obvious and he should appeal. And that's when things run into a little bit of trouble there. Well, either way, we're finished with 3 innings of play. Blue Crabs nothing, Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service. Top of the fourth inning, we are underway, and the first pitch is a little bit outside in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on Braxton Lee. 1-0 pitch. That's inside. Count 2-0. Blue Crabs nothing, and the Revs nothing. Blue Crabs no runs on 3 hits for the Revs. No runs on no hits. Pitch to Lee. Line drive. Shallow left field. Dropping and dropping quickly, and it falls for a base hit. It's a bloop single from Braxton Lee, who picks up his first hit of the night after an 0 for 4 night yesterday. And there's a runner on first base and nobody out, and Joe DeLuca comes to the plate. Eduardo Rivera has thrown 3+ innings of work, allowed 4 hits and 1 walk. He has struck out 3 as he closes in on 50 pitches. Joe DeLuca 1 for 1. On deck, it's Crosby. He's 1 for 1 as well. And here is the first pitch. It's a called strike, and the count 0-1. Alfredo Mendoza mentioned, I hope everyone gets better. We'll win the championship this year. Go Blue Crabs. And Southern Maryland certainly has a very good team this year, top to bottom. The rotation, the starting lineup, the bullpen. 0-1 pitch is inside, count 1-1. Stan Clyburn mentioned in that interview James Dykstra was a big addition down the stretch for the Blue Crabs. Dykstra was here in 2019, pitched in Mexico, pitched in AAA earlier this year. 1-1 delivery. Called strike, count 1-2. He said he was in AAA for about a month, only pitched about 5 innings, and then found himself back here with the Blue Crabs. He's been very effective for Southern Maryland thus far, 3 scoreless innings of work. And it gives the Blue Crabs another really strong option out of the bullpen. We'll get there in a moment. 1-2 pitch, runner goes, it's inside, throw down to second is up and out, and no way to catch Braxton Lee, who got a good jump, and the throw was offline. So a runner on second base now, count 2-2. A really good opportunity now for the Blue Crabs. The runner on second and nobody out. If DeLuca can put this ball in play and an advanced lead at third base, will give Crosby an opportunity to try to trade a run with an out early in this ball game. Only in the 4th inning, but runs have been hard to come by. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. DeLuca looking fastball. He was way out in front of the breaking ball, and there's 1 away. Well, that was certainly a breaking ball. That was no changeup. I don't think we've seen the curveball all night. I believe that was the first curveball that Rivera has thrown. That's awfully surprising. Yeah, that was the first one he's thrown all night. Pitch popped up over to the third base side in foul territory. Josue Herrera is there. He makes the catch. And after a strikeout to Joe DeLuca. It's a really interesting decision from Eduardo Rivera to throw so many fastballs, pound the zone, fastball after fastball after fastball. And here in the 4th inning, on his 53rd pitch of the night, he goes with his first curveball of the day. I mean, I guess it is one way to attack the zone. DeLuca was certainly surprised. Was looking fastball all the way. Pitch blowing in, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Zach Collier, the lefty, with 2 outs in the top of the 4th, still trying to drive in this ball game's first run. With Braxton Lee on second base, he singled to get things going and stole second. 1-0. That's low and in. Count 2-0. Jared Walker on deck. He'll be followed by Matt Hibbert if necessary. As we approach 7:30 in the evening, still 7:25 actually, a fast start to this ball game. Things moving quickly because of the lack of hits. This ball game also started right at 6:30 as the 2-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. First pitch actually came at 6:29. So this ball game an early start time. Here is the 2-1 pitch. Wave and a miss. Count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second base. And there's no score in this ball game. Oh, is that strike 3? No, it's only 2-2. And Collier thinks he struck out. He was walking back to the dugout. And he says, I'll take another pitch. He thought that first pitch was a called strike. It was a called ball. Oh my. I'll have to talk to Collier about this one after the game. Collier thought he deserved an extra strike back in Sunday's game when he had a check swing. He thought he'd struck out moments ago. Pitch. Well, now he struck out as he swings and misses at a curveball. As it goes down and in, and he goes down swinging to end the inning. Well, at the end of 3.5, the Blue Crabs strand 1. And the Blue Crabs and the York Revolution remain scoreless as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, Elmer Reyes gets things going in the bottom of the 4th inning. This ball game still scoreless as the first pitch from Herrera, breaking ball in there for a called strike, and his ability to mix his pitches tonight's been very effective. Again, Herrera's not going to blow you away with velocity. He throws only about 87, and the pitch swinging a line drive foul, first base side, count 0-2. Funny enough, Eduardo Rivera's max velocity tonight, 97.4. Alcis Herrera, 87.4. So 10 mile per hour difference, the max velocity between Eduardo Rivera, the power righty, and Alcis Herrera, the crafty lefty. 0-2 pitch upstairs, count 1-2. As Nash and Rodriguez do up, the 1-2 pitch popped up over to the first base side. Long run for Walker, but he gets there in front of the bullpen where he makes the catch for this first out. Here comes Telvin Nash. Well, Alcides Herrera retired 7 consecutive batters as he now faces Telvin Nash. He did walk Nelly Rodriguez. Or I beg your pardon, that's 8 straight. No, it is 7 straight. I had it right the first time. 7 straight. First pitch breaking ball in there for a called strike, and the count 0-1. Herrera, across 3 1/3 innings, has thrown 44 pitches. 0-1. That's outside. Count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out against Telvin Nash. One delivery. That was awfully close. I'm not sure where it missed. Maybe, I was going to say high. Maybe it was low and maybe it was in. I guess we'll have to wait for the track man. It was a little bit inside, I guess. As the 2-1 pitch. Line drive, right field. That ball falling and falling fast. It's off the wall for a base hit. Lee fields it quickly and fires the second. Holds Telvin Nash to a long single. There is a runner on first base with 1 out. It's the first hit of the night for the York Revolution. Ends a no-hit bid for Alcides Herrera at 3 1/3. Nelly Rodriguez comes to the plate. Rodriguez reached on a walk his first time up. So with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning, the York Revolution pick up their first hit. No runs on 1 hit for the Revs. No runs on 4 hits for the Blue Crabs. Either way, both pitchers have really kept the opposing batters off balance in this one. Eduardo Rivera's used a hard fastball. Alcides Herrera has used a breaking ball, paired it with a slower fastball as the first pitch is low for ball 1. Heavy breaking ball has been very effective for the lefty so far. Here is the 1-0 pitch. That's driven foul behind home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, bottom 4. Runner on first base, 1 out. And that pitch is inside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, here at the ballpark, there are some bugs. They're called spotted lanternflies. They're an invasive species that originates from China. And this bug is everywhere across what's known as the Midwest, but the pitch, that's a little in on a breaking ball. Count 3-1 now on Nelly Rodriguez. Anyway, this bug, it's everywhere. I mean, across the state of Pennsylvania, it is very prevalent into Ohio and Indiana as well. At the ballpark today, I was walking around and saw probably 50 of them. 3-1 pitch, low in the dirt. It's ball 4. So hopefully the experts are saying you see them, you step on them. Now, these bugs are growing exponentially in size, or in population, not size, but population. And that at least to try to stop that, you see it, you step on it. That's the rule right now, according to the experts. So the spotted lanternfly, enemy number 1 in the bug world across Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. And the first pitch now to Melky Mesa on the ground over to third base. Crosby steps on third. He fires to second. It's in time for a double play. Well, not a traditional double play, but it's a 5-4 double play on a weakly hit ball down to third base. Crosby stepped on the bag and fired to second. I actually thought it was a foul ball off of Mesa's foot. Either way, it's a double play to end the inning, and that ends the fourth inning. The Revs pick up a hit. They also have another runner reach on a walk. The end of 4, it's the Blue Crabs nothing, and the Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we go to the top of the fifth inning. Still no runs to show for it for either side. As Jared Walker comes to the plate, 7, 8, and 9 in the Blue Crabs order. First pitch to Walker. It's in there for a called strike. Walker is the Blue Crabs home run leader for now at 15 home runs. This is not a Blue Crabs team that hits many home runs at all. As the pitch, that's in there for a called strike, and the count 0-2. As a team, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs have hit just 80 home runs. That's second last in the league, ahead of only the Ferry Hawks, who have 63, and their ballpark seems to breed no home runs at all. As the 0-2 pitch was called time prior to the pitch, so it does not count. A lot of important numbers there. The Blue Crabs' batting average has been good this season, 266 on the year as a whole. And their pitching staff has also been good, a 4.04 ERA. It's the second best in the league, and it's more than a half run better than third best. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, and now Jared Walker, and it looks like Eduardo Rivera has been thrown out of the ball game. The benches have cleared, and wow, there have been a lot of, all of a sudden, we've got a real benches clearing altercation here, as Dario Polanco is holding back Jared Walker, and Stan Clyburn's now walking out to the mound slowly. I'm not sure what happened, but something happened between Jared Walker and the starting pitcher, Eduardo Rivera. He said something to him, and Walker really fired up. And I don't usually see Jared Walker this way. That is very surprising. Whatever happened, it really set Jared Walker off. And there was very quickly an ejection. I'm not sure if it was Jared Walker who was initially ejected or not, as they're going to have to sort all of this out. And they're yelling at both sides, going back, yelling at each other. Dalton Geeky is making sure that Jared Walker is not going to get back into that skirmish. So Jared Walker struck out on a breaking ball, and whatever happened, he was immediately very upset as he went and ran right at Eduardo Rivera, the starting pitcher, who must have said something to it. So I'm not sure if the home plate umpire, Marty Hassenfuss, threw out Rivera or threw out Walker for initially moving toward the pitcher. And now Mark Mason having a conversation with Marty Hassenfuss. I don't know if Rivera's staying in this ballgame or not. Walker very clearly has been thrown out of the ballgame. That much I know, but the bench is cleared. I wouldn't say it was a brawl, but it was certainly a skirmish. And my goodness, it looks like for the most part things have cleared out as the three umpires are still discussing things. I think they're making decisions as to who's staying in this ballgame and who's not staying in this ballgame. Rivera really must have said something to Walker to make him upset, because I don't see Walker like that a lot. He was very, very angry with Eduardo Rivera. And the umpires still discussing things, and I think it remains to be seen whether or not Rivera is going to be in this ballgame. So as of right now, it seems as though Walker was immediately thrown out. And from there, it's tough to exactly see what's happened. Once we resume play, bases are empty and there's one out, and now the umpires are going to go give an explanation to the coaching staff. The third base umpire, Dave Shirk, is going to come out to have a chat with Stan Clyburn. And Walker is now walking out as well. And he's trying to get the explanation from the umpire, Shirk. And he's saying that really he is very animated and is arguing with the third base umpire. And Jack Sundberg and Braxton Lee also out there, along with Ray Ortega. They cannot believe that, I believe it sounds as though Eduardo Rivera is going to stay in this ballgame. They certainly said something to take him off. Eddie Butler now out there arguing with the umpires. Blue Crabs players are very, very upset with whatever conclusion this umpiring crew has come to. And Walker pleading with the third base umpire, Dave Shirk. Walker was thrown out of the game immediately. And really, they must have said something really, really egregious, because Walker is not normally like this at all, and nor is the rest of this Blue Crabs roster, who become very animated with this umpiring crew. And it sounds as though they're going to play on with just the one ejection. And I'd have to say that it seems almost certain that Rivera or somebody out there, and it appeared as though Walker went after Rivera. Something, again, that must have been egregious to make him that upset. Well, it seems as though this lengthy delay is now over, and Matt Hibbert will come to the plate with one out in the top of the 5th inning. And the first pitch to Matt Hibbert, swinging a high fly ball, left field, this one rather deep, back to the warning track at the wall. This ball is off the wall. Hibbert rounds second, he pulls on the brakes right there. It's a 1-out double for Matt Hibbert, who drives that ball off the arch nemesis wall. And Melky Mesa, who went back on it, leaped, he couldn't quite get there, it was just over his glove. And there's a runner on second base with 1 out. Now there is some action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. I'd imagine Alcides Herrera will remain in this ball game for the bottom of the 5th inning, but that would probably be it unless he's told manager Stan Clyburn that at 53 pitches that's enough. And the first pitch now to Michael Baca, foul back in the count 0-1. So it's Baca, he will be followed by Jack Sundberg, and now this is sort of opened a whole new question as to what the Blue Crabs do with with Jared Walker thrown out of the ball game. So I'd have to imagine that Mike Falsetti will probably come in to replace him. Pitch, line drive, well struck, right center field. This one back in front of the warning track. JC Encarnacion is there, he makes the catch. Hibbert, meanwhile, tagging and going to third base. And so there is a runner on third with 2 outs. You never want to see something like that transpire. And that whole skirmish, not a brawl, it was benches clearing. Seemed to really be an altercation between just a couple of players, and whoever else heard what was said as the pitch, big wave and a miss to Jack Sundberg. It was right after the strikeout to Walker. And I think that, yeah, it looks as though Mike Falsetti will be entering this ball game. He's now throwing the ball with Ian Yetzko. 0-1 pitch, low and in, and that hits Sundberg. There's a runner on first base and 2 outs. Unless it was not a hit. Was it a hit? Did it hit him or did it not hit him? I think that's what we're trying to figure out here. Sundberg, I think, was saying I was hit by the pitch. Unless he ran to first base and was not, and the hit by on the new stealing first base rule. Although I haven't seen that all year long, I would be very surprised. Either way, runners on the corners now, and 2 outs. Right now, that's being ruled as a stolen base. I can't imagine that stands. I guess we're going to have to await the ruling there. But I would have thought almost certainly it was hit by pitch. He turned back and looked and said, it hit me. And the first pitch is low on the count 1-0. Was not a clear sign that it was either a hit or a hit by pitch. And Sundberg certainly didn't sprint down the line. I think that will be altered to a hit by pitch. And now the delivery, that's a ground ball foul back behind home plate. Count 1-0 now on Raul Shah. 2 outs and a scoreless ball game in the top of the 5th inning. Matt Hibbert doubled to left field. And from there, Jack Sundberg reaches on what for now I think is a hit by pitch, but maybe is a single, I'm not quite sure. 1-1 pitch, that's low, and the count 2-1. Just to clear everything up with the situation at first base, there was a pitch that missed low and in to Jack Sundberg. And I think the ball hit him. He does not run to first base on this whole, the new drop third strike rule, which in the Atlantic League, if the catcher does not catch the ball on the fly, the runner may run to first base and is awarded a hit should he reach safely. 2-1 pitch, that's outside to count 3-1. I have not seen Jack Sundberg use that rule all season long. I'd have to imagine he was hit by the pitch. But right now in our scorebook, it's gone down as a single. And if a batter does steal first base, so-called steal first base, successfully, the batter is awarded a single. So maybe that's what they're going with right now, as the 3-1 pitch is in there for a called strike. And the count, or I beg your pardon, a swing and a miss, and the count 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, with runners on the corners in a scoreless ball game. Big opportunity for Raul Shah. Three-two from Rivera. Runner goes, and he strikes out. Raul Shah down swinging to end the top of the 5th inning. The Blue Crabs strand 2 at the end of 4.5. It's the Blue Crabs nothing and the Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
At Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it. We welcome you back in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Joe DeLuca remains in as catcher. There are a couple of changes in the infield after the ejection to Jared Walker, as the first pitch is away for ball 1. My initial thought was that Falsetti would enter and DeLuca would go to first base. But that's not the case. In the bottom of the 5th inning, no score between the Blue Crabs and the Revs. Instead, it's Alex Crosby who moves from third base to first base, and Ian Ietzko who enters at third. As the 1-0 pitch, a big wave and a miss, and the count 1-1. As Mike Falsetti continues to serve as the bullpen catcher tonight. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss from Troy Stokes Jr. in the count 1-2. Bottom of the 5th inning, following a gathering of sorts, one might say. At the mound, between both teams, a benches clearing gathering. 1-2 pitch, up and away, count 2-2. Well, we weren't exactly having a picnic, and we're not some nice words exchanged. But at the end of all of that, Walker is the lone player who is no longer in this ball game, and are quite a few players who were upset that Eduardo Rivera was not thrown out. Pitch, ground ball, one hopper, hard hit right at Yetzko, who fields cleanly and fires to first. And there's one away. It's a tough play for Ian Yetzko, who didn't have a lot of reaction time, but made the play over at third base. Crosby's really become one of the better third basemen in this league. Very sure-handed over there. Doesn't make a lot of errors. Makes a lot of nice defensive plays. And I think Yetzko is primarily a second baseman, but he can fill in at third base if he's needed. And the first pitch to Jeffrey Perez is outside, and the count 1-0. There was also something about a late time call in that at-bat to Jared Walker, and I think that also sort of sparked things, but not to the extent that they ended up going, as the 1-0 pitch is away, and the count 2-0 now to Perez. So far for Alcides Herrera, he's thrown 58 pitches across 4 1/3 innings. One hit, he's walked 2, he's struck out 5. 2-0. On the ground, third base. That one's a fair ball. The flex off the bag and into left field. Hibbert gathers quickly. The throw to second is not going to be in time as it bounces a few times prior to the double from Jeffrey Perez. Runner on second base with nobody out. And here comes John Nunez, 8 and 9, 2 up next. John Nunez and Josue Herrera for the Revs. Nunez a 277 hitter. Josue Herrera at 249. Everybody in this Revs order is somewhere in that 230 to 280 mix. Highest batting average on the team in action tonight, 289. Elmer Reyes, the lowest at 238. That's Nelly Rodriguez, but that's not a large range, as the first pitch is low for ball 1. You compare that to the Blue Crabs, so just to give you a number on that, that's a 51-point average range. And for the Blue Crabs, the lowest batting average in action today is the 9-hitter Michael Baca at 216, and Lee is hitting 316. That's a 100-point range, and if Harris is in the line, it would be 110. Pitch on the ground toward shortstop. Throw to third base from Baca to Yetzko, and they're claiming he's safe. Oh, it was a very close play. Alcides Herrera upset with the call by the third base umpire Dave Shirk, and Baca said that throw was in plenty of time. Yetzko thought he tagged him, and the ground ball was to the left side over to the shortstop Baca, who fielded and fired to the lead base, and he's stunned he didn't get the out there. And Stan Clyburn is trying to deal with the situation as Baca is irate with the third base umpire Dave Shirk. And Yetzko obviously not happy either. It must have been a terrific slide from Jeffrey Perez as Baca threw to third to get that lead out, and it looked as though he was going to have the lead out at third, as it was not a great base running decision by Jeffrey Perez trying to take third. I want to see that's going to go down as a hit. It's not going to go down as a hit. It's going to be a fielder's choice. A ground ball to shortstop. Perez took off for the plate. Well, now there are runners on the corners, or took off for third, I should say. Now there are runners on the corners with one out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Still scoreless for now, but the Revs are threatening. Pitch, fly ball, shallow left field. It's Hibbert who moves in. He makes the catch. He fires toward the plate. Yetzko cuts it off, and Perez not going anywhere. He stops right at third. And so there are runners on the corners still with 2 outs. It's a big out for the Blue Crabs as the 9-hitter Josue Herrera hit that ball to left field. And Hibbert was there to make the catch. Here comes J.C. Encarnacion. Encarnacion 0 for 2 today. Struck out twice, but he comes up in a major spot in the top of the 5th inning. On the year, J.C. Encarnacion hitting .281. And now the first pitch from Herrera. Breaking ball. Big wave and a miss. Count 0-1. 2 away in the bottom of the 5th. No score, but the Revs threatening in a big way. It's Perez from third. It's Nunez on first. J.C. Encarnacion has 11 homers this year, 50 RBIs. And the leadoff hitter in the York lineup. Here's the pitch. On the ground over to shortstop. Baca flips to second for the lead out, and that ends the inning. The Revs strand 2. They got the benefit of the doubt on a big call at third base. That put runners on the corners with 1 out as opposed to 2 outs with the runner on first. Either way, the Revs can't come through. Alcides Herrera holds York off the board through 5 innings of play. We go to the top of the 6th inning. This ball game remains scoreless on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We are back in the top of the 6th inning, and Braxton Lee takes a first pitch ball, and the count 1-0. Now the 1-0 pitch, a called strike. One ball, 1 strike. Nobody out in the top of the 6th. Pitch, line drive, foul back behind home plate, and the count 1-2. Blue Crabs, no runs on 6 hits. For York, no runs on 3 hits. Pitch, foul ball, over to the third base side, foul. The count 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch, line drive, foul, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. It'll be Lee followed by DeLuca and Crosby in the inning. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, right center field. This one rather deep. Back in front of the warning track. Encarnacion at the wall. He makes the catch. Oh, Encarnacion tracked that ball down. Only maybe 5 feet in front of the wall and right. Braxton Lee gave that ball a ride, nearly hit it out of the ballpark. Very long fly out in the 6th. It's Joe DeLuca who digs in from the left side. And the pitch, foul back, and the count 0-1. Oh-1 delivery. Upstairs in the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, top of the 6th inning. Alcides Herrera has been very good, and it appears as though he's poised to remain in this ballgame. No action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. He's thrown 66 pitches across 5 innings. Now Eduardo Rivera across 5 1/3 has thrown 81 pitches. 1-1 pitch, a big swing and a miss, count 1-2. He's gone to that curveball a couple of times on Joe DeLuca, who is clearly looking fastball first. Eduardo Rivera has only thrown 7 curveballs, and he had not thrown a curveball across the first 50 pitches. So he's now going to that curveball later in this ballgame. Pitch on the ground over to first base. Another curveball easily fielded by Rodriguez. The flip to first is in time to get Joe DeLuca 2 up and 2 down in the 6th. And right now, that hit by pitch to Sundberg, and I'm almost positive it was a hit by pitch back in the 5th inning, is going down as a single and a stealing first base. First pitch now to Crosby, foul ball, back behind home plate. Now I think that will be reversed, but for now it's in as a single. Now the pitch, swinging a foul tip, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes on Alex Crosby with 2 outs. Again, in the top of the 6th inning. Still no score. Pitch, swinging a miss, strike 3. Oh, Eduardo Rivera remains on his game. He's gone 6 strong, 6 shutout innings against the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. He's allowed 6 hits, but he's kept the base runners to a minimum, as he's walked just 1 batter while striking out 8 to end the top of the 6th inning. Well, at the end of 5 1/2, it's the Blue Crabs nothing. It's the Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service. Now we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, I should say. It's the Blue Crabs and the Revs who are scoreless in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the first pitch now to Elmer Reyes. Rolled over to shortstop, fielded by Baca. Throw to first in plenty of time. There's one away. Well, we were talking about this before the game with Stan Clyburn about what he was expecting out of Alcides Herrera tonight. And he said, I said, look, do you think you're going to get 5, maybe 6 innings out of him? And he goes, look, if we can get 5, that's great. And I asked him about, is this going to be a big bullpen night? And again, he said he wanted to get 5 innings, keep the designated hitter. Well, here we are on the 6th. He's gone 5 scoreless, allowed just 2 hits and 2 walks, total of 4 base runners. He remains in this game. Pitch to Telvin Nash, that's a called strike, as he's facing the heart of this order for the Revs. And here's the pitch. That one's a check swing, ground ball, hit a little awkwardly over to first. Crosby scoops it up and steps on first. There are 2 away. That's a nice way to get your 6th inning started. With a ground out to short and a ground out to first. Oh, an interesting thing has happened to Alcides Herrera tonight. First 3 innings, 5 strikeouts. Next 2 2/3 innings, 0. It's not every day you see that kind of discrepancy about the first half of your outing and the second half of your outing. And here is Nelly Rodriguez. He is the owner of both walks that were issued by Alcides Herrera. The first pitch low and away, and the count 1-0. Across 5 2/3 now. 70 pitches thrown from Herrera. And now the pitch, swinging a high fly ball. This one drilled to left. This one back to the warning track at the wall. It's gone. Nelly Rodriguez tapes Alcides Herrera deep on a breaking ball left out over the plate. Herrera kept the York Revolution off the board for the first 5 2/3. It's just their 3rd hit of the night. But Nelly Rodriguez has reached all 3 times, and the 3rd one comes with a bang, a solo shot over the wall and left as the cannon fires out in right field. And it's a 1-0 lead for the Revs in the bottom of the 6th inning. A solo shot from Nelly Rodriguez has turned this game completely upside down, a scoreless ball game. And now it's a 1-0 ball game, but it changes the entire complexion of this game. First pitch, now a swing and a miss, count 0-1. I mean, it's only 1 run, and normally you think, all right, if it's a 4-4 game, now it's a 5-4 game. But when it's a scoreless game, your pitcher's doing that well, and now all of a sudden, he's got a home run to work with. And now he's behind by a run. It changes the situation in the bullpen. It changes the situation for York in the direction they might want to go in here in the 7th now. Now the 1-1 pitch. That's low, count 2-1 on Melky Mesa. Have to wonder how this affects Alcides Herrera. Is he going to start to pitch any differently after the home run over the wall and left? 2-1 pitch. Dribbled foul, 3rd base side, count 2-2. It's just been Nelly Rodriguez really who's been able to get to Herrera tonight. Couple of walks, a solo home run. Aside from that, Telvin Nash has a single, and Jeffrey Perez does as well. And Nash hit one off the wall in left. Perez a double down the line in left. So single to right from Nash, a double to left from Perez. Now the 2-2. Low in the zone, low out of the zone, I should say. 3-2. Two outs, the base paths are empty in the bottom of the 6th inning. I'd imagine this will do it for Herrera as he's starting to run into trouble here in the 6th. I think they'll let him work out of the 6th unless things really start to spiral. And then in the 7th, the Blue Crabs will probably go to the bullpen. Now the 3-2 to Melky Mesa. On the ground, 3rd base side foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base paths are empty, and the Revs have their first lead of the ball game. They have the ball game's first lead. It's 1-0 pitch. Swinging a line drive, very well struck, deep left center field. This one back to the warning track. It's off the wall in center. Collier has some trouble gathering it. He fires into the second baseman. That's Raul Shah, and it holds Melky Mesa to a double. And there's a runner on second base with 2 outs now in the bottom of the 6th. Well, to think Herrera had only allowed 2 hits the entire night and has since allowed 2 hits in the last 2 batters. 2 extra base hits at that. Solo shot to Nelly Rodriguez, a double to center from Melky Mesa. And this very well might be a situation where Herrera is getting tired. He has not gone this deep in an outing yet this season, as Nick Wells is warming up for the Blue Crabs. Only 78 pitches from Herrera, but that's not really the point, as Troy Stokes Jr. digs in. Pitch to Troy Stokes Jr., a called strike. Well, the Revs won, the Blue Crabs nothing. And the pitch, swinging a high pop-up, shallow center field. And Zach Collier comes in and makes the catch right around shoulder height for the final out, but not before the Revs score 1 on a solo home run over the wall in the left field. At the end of 6, it's the Revs 1, it's the Blue Crabs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
First pitch misses low to Zach Collier as we get things started in the top of the 7th inning. And the 1-0 pitch is also low. Count 2 balls and no strikes. And Zach Collier, so the Blue Crabs send 6, 7, and 8 in the order as a 2-0 pitch. That's also low. Count 3-0. as we get things underway in the top of the 7th. 1-0 York. The lone run of the game scored back in the bottom of the 6th on a solo shot over the wall in left. And now the pitch. That's upstairs. 4 pitches, 4 balls, and a walk. And there's a runner on first base to get things going in the top of the 7th.
Number 7, Ian Yatzko.
4 fastballs that time from Rivera, and none of them were in the zone. And now it's time for Ian Yatzko to come to the plate. Yatzko didn't start this game. He entered at third base. That was after Jared Walker was thrown out of the game during the skirmish on the mound. As the pitch, bunt right in front of home plate. It's going to be a tough play, and no one's covering first base. The second baseman, that's Jeffrey Perez, was very late getting there. The first baseman, Nelly Rodriguez, charged in, and all of a sudden, it is a bunt, and everybody's going to be safe. Runners on first and second with nobody out as Matt Hibbert comes to the dish. 8 and 9 now due up in the Blue Crabs batting order with 2 on and nobody out. I'd have to imagine that goes down as a sacrifice bunt and he reaches on the play. I don't think that's going to be a bunt single, but you never know. Either way, Collier on second, Yatzko on first. And they're going to give him a single. A bunt single for Ian Yatzko. I'm sure he's happy to see that. The 7th hit of the day for the Blue Crabs, but now they've got a real opportunity to get something going here in the 7th. And also you have to think Rivera probably getting toward the end of his rope. Throwing 93 pitches, infield in, especially at the corners. And now Hibbert squares the bunt. He pulls back and takes ball 1. 1-0 Revs. Runners on first and second with nobody out. Blue Crabs are going to have a couple of cracks at getting a run in here. Hibbert to the plate, Baca on deck, and Sundberg to follow. York ahead 1-0. Hibbert squares the bunt. He pulls back again as the pitch is low and away. Count 2-0. Collier led things off with a walk on 4 pitches. From there, a bunt from Ian Yatzko was right in front of home plate. And he picks up a single for that. Advanced Collier to second. Count 2-0. Hibbert shows bunt. He does bunt, but it's foul, third base side. And Nelly Rodriguez, I beg your pardon, that's Jean Nunez, who picked up the ball. Looked to third base first, so that very well might be something to consider. That the Revs would like to go to third base if possible. That even on a sacrifice bunt, they're probably not thinking throw to first exclusively. We'll have to see if the bunt's still on with 1 strike. Here's the 2-1. He does show bunt. He bunts foul again, third base side. And the catcher, John Nunez, threw that ball into left field. But the call was a foul ball, so the point is moot. But either way, it would have been a big break for the Blue Crabs had that been a fair bunt. The throw gone to third base. It's putting a lot of trust in a player to pick up the ground ball and throw to a base they don't traditionally throw to, and having a position player try to stretch and make a play that he's not all that used to doing. If you're at third base, it's pretty rare you've got a force-out play where you have to stretch like a first baseman and receive a throw from your catcher. And you receive the throw from the catcher on steals over to third base, but it's rare on a play like this. Well, now the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 on for the Blue Crabs. They're down by 1. Rivera, the pitch. Another bunt. It's a foul bunt. Oh, my, he's down on strikes. And now the batters who were stealing on the pitch have to return to their previous bases. So Hibbert goes down on strikes on 3 foul bunts. And there's 1 out. That's a disappointing turn of events for the Blue Crabs. You have Matt Hibbert trying to get a bunt down and is unable to get any of his 3 bunts down. And now you have 1 out and runners on first and second. Completely changes the complexion of what's going on here. From being able to potentially have 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out and have that tying run 90 feet away with just 1 out. That makes a massive difference that you can score the run with the sac fly. You can score the run with the fielder's choice or a ground ball. You don't need a base hit, but now the Blue Crabs, barring a pass ball or a wild pitch, are going to need a base hit to get this running. Of course, an error. There are a couple other ways it could happen, but generally very unlikely. They're going to need a base hit here from either Baca or Sundberger to keep this inning alive. Well, Collier on second, Yetzko on first, with 1 out in the top of the 7th inning. A walk to Collier, a single to Yetzko. Here's the pitch now to Michael Baca. It's low and away. It's ball 1. And it's not as though Eduardo Rivera has been pounding the strike zone here as he inches toward 100 pitches. And meanwhile, Brett DeGuss is warming up in the bullpen. 2-1 with a 5.81 earned run average for the right-handed pitcher. 1-0 delivery to Baca. Swinging a ground ball slowly over to shortstop. The only plays at first base. It's in plenty of time. And there are 2 away. So now runners on second and third with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Now, I would not normally think that the starting pitcher, Eduardo Rivera, would consider walking a leadoff guy like Sundberg, but Sundberg hitting the ball very well. He is 1 for 2 tonight, given that pass ball hit by pitch debacle. Whether or not he actually hit him or not, whether or not it hit him, I should say. I think at this point, it doesn't really matter, but he's credited with a single. Other than that, he's just 0 for 1. He struck out, he walked, and then he had that hit by pitch, single, drop, third strike, whatever it was. Pitch low, and the count, or no, it's a called strike, and the count 0-1. The reason I say would they walk him was it would bring up Raul Shah, who has not had a terrific game tonight, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. But they opt to pitch to Jack Sundberg. 0-1 delivery. Line drive, left field, but it's right at the left fielder, Melky Mesa, who takes just 1 step back and makes the catch for the final out. The Blue Crabs threaten. They had runners on first and second with no outs. They end up stranding runners on second and third to end the top of the 7th inning. At the end of 6.5, it's time to get up and stretch, but the York Revolution have a 1-0 lead on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service. Well, a new pitcher has entered the ball game for the Blue Crabs. It is Nick Wells, the lefty. Will throw the bottom of the 7th inning as the Blue Crabs trail this ball game 1-0. As it is the bottom of the order. 7, 8, and 9 to come to the plate for the Revs. And the pitch, line drive to left. This one down the line. It's going to drop in front of Hibbert for base hit. Perez trying to extend it to a double. He thinks better of it. Throw down at first. Almost got him coming back to the bag. Now, did they get him? No. Oh, Crosby can't believe it. Perez seemed to come off the base as he overslid it. And now the umpires are going to come together on this one, and they're going to call a time. It's very possible that Perez was out as he slid back into first base and came off the bag. And let's see if the home plate umpire, Marty Hassenfuss, is going to overrule the first base umpire, Doug McFarling. I think Hassenfuss had a better view on that ball. And they're calling him safe. So line drive into left field, and Perez thought about going to second, but Hibbert played the ball pretty quickly and threw it into second base. He would have been way out at second. He thought better, but decided to go back to first base. Shaw made a good throw to first. And the thought was Perez might have overslid the bag. Runner on first base in the bottom of the 7th. Blue Crabs down a run. And it's John Nunez who calls time. Again, this is a batting order for the Revs that at its, I'd say, strongest is extremely consistent top to bottom, 1 to 9. As the pitch low in the dirt, nicely blocked by DeLuca. And the count now 2 balls and no strikes. Or beg your pardon, 1 ball and no strikes as Nunez called time on the first one. Well, the Blue Crabs stranded runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Also had 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Couldn't get a run in. The left on base numbers just too high tonight for the Blue Crabs. And the 1-0 pitch is fouled back, count 1-0. It's reminiscent of the game on Sunday night where the Blue Crabs left 11 on. Well set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nick Wells on the year comes in with an ERA of 4.33. Pitched in AA and AAA last year. In his last appearance, went 1 scoreless inning, allowed a hit. He struck out 2. A 4.37 ERA, a 1.41 whip. Wells the 1-2. That's away. Count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs, once they come back to the plate, will send 2, 3, and 4 to the dish. That's Raul Shaw, Braxton Lee, and Joe DeLuca. Blue Crabs had to find a way to get Raul Shaw's bat going there. Was going for a while earlier this year, but it's quieted down tonight. Pitch, line drive, shallow center, long run for Collier. Collier's still coming in. He dives, he can't make the catch. It's a base hit into shallow center field. You want a bloop single, you just saw one. John Nunez knocked it into shallow center. The runner's on 1st and 2nd with nobody out. Jeffrey Perez roped 1 to left. Now it's Nunez who bloops 1 to center. And Josue Herrera will come to the plate. Herrera taps his bat against home plate once. Squares around a bunt. He does bunt. Third base line. DeLuca's got one play. It's at first. It's a tough play, and they got him. Now a throw back to third base. Bit of a risky throw, but Yetzko made the catch to make sure that Jeffrey Perez didn't get too far off the bag. Sacrifice bunt. And back to the top of the order, it's J.C. Encarnacion. Runners on second and third with one out. J.C. Encarnacion to be followed by Elmer Reyes if necessary. This might be a point in the ball game where not only the Blue Crabs bringing their infield in, but for Wells, it's sort of strikeout or bust right now. He needs a strikeout. Keep the runners at second and third, or pop out would do the same, but can't allow a line drive or a deep fly out here. That's going to double the York Revolution lead. Pitch a little bit upstairs, count 1-0. One ball, no strikes, one out. Bottom seven, the Blue Crabs have found themselves in some trouble. And time is called by the home plate umpire, Marty Hasenfuss. So J.C. Encarnacion at the plate with Perez at third. And Nunez at second base. 1-0 pitch, low. Count 2-0.
That's right. Cameraman Nate here to my right was reading quality classic poetry.
Doesn't get any easier for Nick Wells. He had the bottom of the lineup to get things going. Perez singled, Nunez singled, and Herrera with a sacrifice bunt. And now it's the top of the order. J.C. Encarnacion and Elmer Reyes before he'd have to face Telvin Nash and Nelly Rodriguez. 2-0 pitch, low, count 3-0. Now first base is open, but I don't think you really want to create a base-loaded situation. And you do get the force outs, which would be a nice boost. Go home in the play without any issue. Could move the infield back, and now they are going to intentionally walk Encarnacion on that fourth pitch. And Darryl Thompson, the pitching coach, out to the mound, have a discussion with Joe DeLuca and Michael Baca. So the bases are loaded. Encarnacion on first, Nunez on second, Perez on third. It's the Blue Crabs who trail 1-0 in the bottom of the seventh inning. On a solo shot from Nelly Rodriguez, that's the difference right now. Darryl Thompson is having a quick word with Nick Wells, and now a meeting at the mound for Darryl Thompson. You are limited, you only get 3 of those. As Patrick Baker is warming up for the Blue Crabs. You do wonder how many options the Blue Crabs have left tonight. Baker hasn't pitched in a while. They might go back to Dykstra. It's also possible the Blue Crabs go to Briseño tonight. And here comes the first pitch. Called strike on Elmer Reyes. Breaking ball drops in on the outer half in the count 0-1. Bases loaded now for the Revs. A pair of singles and a walk. And the pitch, swinging a high fly ball, deep right center field. This one back to the warning track at the wall. Braxton Lee tracks it down for the out. A very long and loud second out of the inning, and it scores Perez from third base. It is a 2-0 lead for the York Revolution. That was very nearly a 5-0 lead, as that ball almost got out of here. Well, some plays come back to bite you. The one at first base with Jeffrey Perez. Did he go off the base? If he did go off the base and was called out, the inning would now be over. Perez would have been the first out. Well, assuming Josue Herrera still bunts for that second out, that would be the third out, as Herrera the second out and Elmer Reyes the third. But instead, a run's in. 2 outs, but runner is on the corner still for Telvin Nash, who takes ball 1 low. And the 1-0 pitch low in the dirt. And the count 2-0. Blue Crabs have left far too many guys on base tonight. Eight left on base across the first 7 innings. No runs on 7 hits. Revs have allowed 9 base runners tonight. 2-0 pitch on the ground, back to the mound. Wells fields, he'll underhand flip to first for the final out. Well, the Revs add a run. A sacrifice fly off the bat of Elmer Reyes has given the Revs a 2-0 lead as it scores Jeffrey Perez. At the end of 7 innings of play, York has a 2-0 lead over Southern Maryland on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, the Blue Crabs bats certainly have their work cut out for them as they trail by 2 in the top of the 8th inning. Blue Crabs will send Shaw, followed by Braxton Lee to the plate. First pitch called strike, and the count 0-1. Shaw, Lee, and DeLuca due up, followed by Alex Crosby. Raul Shah is 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out twice, trying to get things back on track with the 0-1 pitch. A wave and a miss, count 0-2. Fastball from Brett DeGus. Blown past Raul Shah. 95. Couple of fastballs up in the zone. 0-2 now. That's low and away, and the count 1-2. Well, Eduardo Rivera's night is over. 100 pitches, 62 strikes for the righty. Across 7 innings, he allowed 7 hits and 2 walks. As Brett DeGus comes into the ballgame. 1-2, check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, according to Doug McFarling, the first base umpire. Brett DeGus comes in with a 5.81 earned run average. Last time out, DeGus went an inning of work, allowed 4 hits and 6 runs. 2-2 pitch, just a little away, and the count 3-2. Against the Long Island Ducks, 4 hits, 6 runs, a home run, and 2 walks. The outing prior, he came in with just a 3.91 ERA, but it ballooned to 5.81 after that outing. 3-2 pitch, foul back behind home plate. Count remains 3-2. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat. Shaw took 3 pitches. They were all rather close, but they all missed the zone. A little outside on every one of them. 3-2 delivery. That's outside. That's ball 4. Raul Shah walks, and the Blue Crabs had the leadoff man on here in the 8th. I'll bring up Braxton Lee. Now the Blue Crabs have had plenty of base runners. That's their 10th base runner of the day. They have left 8 on base. They've had 1 who reached out as part of a double play ball. That's it. That's the entirety of the Blue Crabs' night. A double play as Jared Walker lined into a double play back into the 2nd inning, and a hard hit liner to first, and DeLuca was off the back. Pitched foul, 3rd base side, over to the left field seats, out of play. And the count 0-1. Now the toss over to first base as Shaw dives back in safely. Oh, 0-1 delivery to Braxton Lee. That's low and in, and the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out in the top of the 8th inning. Blue Crabs nothing, the Revs 2. We'll give you some scores from around the Atlantic League in just 1 moment. As DeGus tosses back over to check on Shaw. Ducks 5, the Barnstormers 3 in the bottom of the 6th, so if both scores hold, the Blue Crabs would remain 2.5 games out. Lexington 4, High Point 3, as the 1-1 pitch a little bit low, and the count 2-1. Gastonia over Charleston 9-1. And the lone day game today is in the books. The Genomes over the Ferry Hawks 4-0. Pitch, line drive, up the middle, a base hit. Shaw rounds 2nd base. He chugs for 3rd. The throw is cut off. And there are runners on the corners with nobody out for the Blue Crabs. As Braxton Lee rips a single into center field. And the Blue Crabs have an opportunity to bring in a run here in the top of the 8th with nobody out and a runner on 3rd. Now, the question comes, do you try to move Braxton Lee to 2nd base here with nobody out? Is he going to be stealing 2nd? I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion by any means. Braxton Lee runs rather well. At many points in his career, he's been a leadoff hitter. Lee 17 for 19 in stolen bases at nearly 90%. Joe DeLuca comes to the plate. Runners on the corners and nobody out. Some more action in the Revs bullpen as Rowdy's warms up. First pitch called strike. Just barely clipped the outside corner on the count 0-1. Roniel Rowdy's pitched in yesterday's ball game. Actually pitched rather well. And the 0-1 pitch fouled off third base side, count 0-2 on DeLuca. Runners on first and third with nobody out. With Raul Shaw on third base. Braxton Lee on first base. DeLuca 1 for 3 in today's game. A single, a ground out, and a strikeout. DeGus set. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swinging a foul ball off the inside of his right ankle. So far, DeLuca's seen a couple of fastballs. That last pitch seemed to have some break on it. And he managed to foul it off. Count no balls and 2 strikes on DeLuca. Last one classified as a curveball. 0-2 pitch. Oh, and he's called out on strikes. It looked a little inside, but DeLuca is rung up by the home plate umpire, Marty Hassenfuss. And there's one away, and it's a really tough first down for the Blue Crabs as they've got a runner on third base. The last thing they can afford here is not to get a run in this situation. I mean, if they're not going to get a run in here, it sort of begs the question, how are they ever going to get a run in the 9th inning if they can't get a run in with this situation? Now, do you want to put Braxton Lee in motion? If you do, the risk is that, well, now the pitch popped up foul, third base side. If he's caught stealing, a fly ball does not bring in a run anymore. I'd imagine that with 2 outs, we'd probably see Braxton Lee in motion if he's not advanced a second prior. Got to get a run in here, though. 2-0 Revs in the top of the 8th. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and now Crosby in trouble. Crosby is 1 for 3, a single, a pop out, and a strikeout. The last thing he can really look for here is a strikeout. It would really, really make this situation tough for the Blue Crabs. Put runners on the corners and nobody out and not get a run in. That would be really tough. Blue Crabs still have an opportunity here. Just 1 out and a runner on third base. Runners on the corners, actually. A gapper would probably tie the game. But the 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Raul Shaw led off the inning with a walk. From there, a single from Braxton Lee put runners on the corners with nobody out. But a strikeout to DeLuca, a strikeout to Crosby. And there are 2 away. I would have to imagine that Braxton Lee would be in motion here with 2 outs. Pitch, line drive, deep left center field. This one back, it's off the wall. 1 run scores, and now Lee is sent into third. He's going to stop there. It's an RBI double for Zach Collier. The Blue Crabs are on the board in the top of the 8th inning as he ropes one off the arch nemesis wall in left field. And the Blue Crabs are on the board. Raul Shaw scores from third base. There are runners on second and third with 2 outs. And now Mark Mason's going to make the call to the bullpen. It's the Revs 2. It's the Blue Crabs 1 in the top of the 8th inning on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We'll step aside for the pitching change. When we come back, we'll break down all the numbers. It's Ian Yetzko who will come to the plate for the Blue Crabs.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service. It's the top of the 8th inning on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. 2-1 York, but the Blue Crabs have 2 in scoring position with 2 out for Ian Yetzko. It's Raniel Rowdies. First pitch, called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike on Ian Yetzko. Rowdies enters the ball game with a 2.08 ERA across 17 innings. 0-1 pitch, he chases a breaking ball on the count 0-2. Yetzko singled back in the 7th on what was probably meant to be a sacrifice bunt, but he reached. Count 0-2. Collier from second. Lee from third. Pitch, swing, and a miss. Strike 3. Blue Crabs score 1, but they strand 2 in scoring position. Raniel Rowdies comes in and strikes out Yetzko on 3 pitches to end the top of the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Crabs still trail 2-1 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's now a 2-1 ball game, and Nelly Rodriguez comes to the plate. He's been the top bat in that York lineup tonight. 1 for 1 with a solo home run over the wall in left. He's also walked twice. First pitch called strike from Patrick Baker, who enters the ball game with a 2.18 earned run average. Nelly Rodriguez followed by Melky Mesa and Troy Stokes Jr. And the 0-1. That's upstairs. Count 1-1. Well, the Revs got things going in the 6th with a solo home run from Nelly Rodriguez. They added a run in the 7th on a sacrifice fly. As the 1-1 pitch upstairs gets away from the catcher DeLuca as Elmer Reyes drove in the run and scored Jeffrey Perez on the sacrifice fly. From there, the Blue Crabs put up a couple of hits in the 8th inning. A single from Shaw, or I beg your pardon, a walk from Shaw, a single from Sundberg, and then an RBI double from Zach Collier. Pitch, one hopper over to third. Yetzko fields as he's backing up and fires the first in time for the out. And there is one away. And here comes Melky Mesa. Melky Mesa hit a home run in yesterday's ball game, a 2-run shot in the first. The Blue Crabs were able to overcome that 2-run home run in a 5-4 victory. So far, Mesa 1 for 3. He doubled his last time up. And the pitch, that's a called strike on the outside corner. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. York 2, Southern Maryland 1. 0-1 offering is outside. Count 1-1. Mesa followed by Troy Stokes Jr. at 5-6. Telvin Nash had the night off yesterday. In the 3 spot today, he bumps Mesa from 3 to 5. 1-1, wave and a miss. Count 1-2. A bunch of, I beg your pardon, just a couple of changes defensively for the Blue Crabs. With the ejection earlier, the box score had a couple other things that were unrelated. It looked as though there were more. Pitch, that's outside. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes for attendance tonight, 2,493. Not sure I see 2,000 fans here. Either way, that's the number tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Melky Mesa. Drive to right. This one well hit. If it's fair, it's probably gone. That ball tails foul. Very well struck. You know, I think that for Melky Mesa only, they need to move that foul pole about 20 feet to the right. Hit 3 balls in an at-bat yesterday in the 8th that were tiptoeing that foul pole just barely foul. And the pitch. 1 hopper over to short. Baca fields. He fires to first in time to get Melky Mesa, who runs well. And Troy Stokes Jr. will come to the plate from here. Base paths are empty with 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning for Troy Stokes Jr., who slides his bat across home plate. And the first pitch, breaking ball, called strike, and the count 0-1. Couple of ground outs to get things started for Patrick Baker in the bottom of the 8th. Well, when the Blue Crabs come to the plate, it'll be 8-9-1. And the 0-1 pitch, that's away. Count 1-1. It'll be Matt Hibbert, Michael Baca, and Jack Sundberg due up. Blue Crabs do not have any bats off the bench, so those will be the 3 who will come to the plate. 1-1 delivery, drive to deep right field. It's Lee back at the warning track. That ball's off the short porch and right. He fires in quickly to second base, but Troy Stokes Jr. has a 2-out double. That ball was very well struck off the bat. I thought that might get out of here, but instead just goes off the wall and right. Either way, a double for Troy Stokes Jr. It brings up Jeffrey Perez, who singled his last time up and came home and scored on the sacrifice fly.
Second baseman number 2, Jeffrey Perez.
And Jeffrey Perez will come to the plate. Runner on second base, 2 outs, a 1-run lead for York. Patrick Baker, first pitch to Perez. Curveball, called strike. Perez at the plate. And the 0-1 is inside, count 1-1. Nunez to follow and Herrera after that. Jeffrey Perez actually played with the Miami Marlins briefly back in 2016. And the pitch, that was close, missed, and the count 1-0. 2 for 3 in his MLB career. You can't ask for much better than that. Across 12 games, he was 2 for 3. Scored 5 runs, came in a number of pinch running opportunities. And Baker walks him back to the bag. Well, funny enough, he never played in Double-A that year, or Triple-A that year. He only played in Double-A. Played in Double-A Jacksonville and was called up to the Miami Marlins for 12 games. Stole 4 bases, came in a lot as a pinch runner. 2-1 pitch, that's up and away, count 3-1. Was with the Miami Marlins organization through 2017 when he hit just 169 with Jacksonville. And Played in the Mexican League for quite some time. His first year in the Atlantic League. 3-1 pitch. That's up and in. It's ball 4. Runners on first and second now with 2 outs. 2-1 York in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Catcher number 21, John Nunez.
As John Nunez will come to the plate. It's Stokes Jr. on second. First pitch up and away in the count 1-0. Jeffrey Perez on first. Baker has now thrown 19 pitches, just 9 strikes. Now the delivery. That's popped up foul behind home plate. Two-1 York. Revs scored 1 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. The Blue Crabs with a lone run in the 8th. And Fuller warms up in the bullpen for the Revs. Jim Fuller played as high as AAA. Has a 3.55 earned run average and has converted 14 out of 19 saves successfully. And the pitch, foul back behind home plate, fastball at 94. And the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 on for the York Revolution as they try to get some insurance runs for Jim Fuller to work with. One-two pitch, line drive up the middle. It's a base hit. Collier is going to come up throwing. Throw to the plate is not in time. It's an RBI single for for John Nunez. He drives in Troy Stokes Jr. and it's a 3-1 lead. Well, that one hurts the Blue Crabs in a big way. Instead of only needing 1 in the top of the 9th, now you need 2. An RBI single from John Nunez, and the runners on first and second with 2 outs. Patrick Baker has run into trouble more recently. His numbers here in the month of August, not the same as they were back in the first 3 months of the year. And the pitch, a little upstairs, count 1-0. Oh, it's a really tough run. The Blue Crabs just allowed. It's 3-1 York now in the bottom of the 8th. Runners on first and second, still with 2 outs. The Blue Crabs had a shot to get him at the plate. Collier just a split second slow. And now this one hard hit over to first base off the bat of Josue Herrera. It's gobbled up by Crosby, who steps on the bag for the final out, but not before the Revs score 1, and they lead this game by 2. It's 3-1 York on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Underway in the top of the ninth inning. The first pitch to Matt Hibbert is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. On deck, it's Michael Baca. He represents the tying run. In the hole, it'll be Jack Sundberg. 1-0 pitch on the ground. This one, a diving stop at shortstop by Reyes. Throw to first is not in time. Elmer Reyes with a heck of an effort, but an infield single from Matt Hibbert, and now the tying run comes to the plate. Well, Matt Hibbert is 3 for 4 on the night. We talk about batting averages going up. And his batting average up to 230 after the base hit. Michael Baca now at the plate. And the first pitch to Baca, that's away, count 1-0. Again, the Blue Crabs don't really have any bats off the bench to work with. The Blue Crabs have Mike Falsetti, but that's it. 1-0 pitch, that's a called strike. And the count 1-1. I think in other situations, the Blue Crabs might opt to use a pinch hitter, but Jared Walker got the start. He was, of course, ejected from the ball game in that brawl or skirmish earlier in this ball game. And the 1-1 pitch, that's a called strike at the knees, count 1-2. And without him, it leads the Blue Crabs to not have quite as many options at the plate. Yetzko theoretically would be an option off the bench, but he has come into the game at third base in place of Walker as Crosby moved from third to first. 3-1 York. Blue Crabs need 2 runs in the top of the ninth. Pitch, ground ball. This one up the middle for a base hit, goes directly over second base in between Elmer Reyes and Jeffrey Perez, and the Blue Crabs have 2 on and nobody out in the top of the ninth. All of a sudden, the Blue Crabs making a little bit of noise, and the top of the lineup comes to the plate. We Jack Sundberg and then Raul Shaw. So the tying run on first base. You always talk about not wanting to push the run prior to the tying run. So you don't want to push Hibbert in this situation, but you do want to push Baca. Because if Baca scores, the game's tied. If Hibbert scores, they still need to score Baca, so no reason to push him. Pitch, called strike, that's right down the middle, count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike on Sundberg. As the pitch from Jim Fuller, the closer, came in at 90, right down the middle. 0-1 offering. Foul back to the netting behind home plate, the count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Hibbert on second base. He'd just need a score prior to Baca. Wouldn't be stunned to see a double steal here. Or if not right now, maybe with an out or 2. Try to put that tying run in scoring position. Pitch. That one just a little squibber down the third base side. If Sundberg could get a base hit here and bring 1 home, or at least load the bases, go a long ways. Or advance Baca to third on the play with a base hit. What gives Southern Maryland a real shot here in the ninth. Pitch, that's in the dirt. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sundberg is 1 for 3 tonight. He got credit for reaching base on the drop third strike rule, as I think he had either convinced everybody else he had been hit by a pitch, maybe he was hit by the pitch. Either way, he just sort of trotted over to first base. And the catcher, John Nunez, is going to throw. I think Sundberg was at least petitioning that he was hit by the pitch, so he walked on over there. 1-2 delivery. Line drive foul back behind home plate. He got a good pitch there. I think he wanted a base hit on that pitch, but didn't get all that much of it and fouled it back. Hibbert from second, Baca on first. With nobody out in the top of the ninth, Baca represents the tying run. Sundberg the go-ahead run. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's low, it's in the dirt, it gets away from the catcher. Now they're gonna take off. Baca is into second base. As that ball got away from the catcher, John Nunez, both runners advance. It's Hibbert to third, it's Baca to second, and now it's a whole different situation. Now if you're Jack Sundberg and you put the ball in play, you get Hibbert to come home from third. If you could advance Baca to third, all of a sudden you've got a runner on third base and one out. And Raul Shah would be tasked with driving in the tying run. But now you've got 3 chances to drive in a run from second. Pitch to Sundberg, ground ball over to first. Hibbert comes to the plate, he scores. Baca to third. It's a 3-2 ball game, one out in the top of the 9th inning, and the tying run is just 90 feet away for Raul Shah. And Matt Hibbert quickly talking with Braxton Lee. And Raul Shah comes in. He's been in the game the entire night, but he comes to the plate. He is 0 for 3 with a walk. The infield is in. Outfield at straightaway depth. I don't think this is a situation where he's coming to the plate regardless. First pitch, wave and a miss, and a pitch low and out of the zone, count 0-1. York 3, Southern Maryland 2. Michael Baca leads off of third base. The Blue Crabs have a run in already. 0-1 delivery from Fuller. Swing and a miss. Count 0-2. Blue Crabs have Braxton Lee on deck. Shah 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out twice. He's walked once. He needs to get this ball in play. And the pitch, low and in. Skipped away from the catcher briefly, but not nearly long enough for Baca to come to the plate. Top of the 9th inning, the Blue Crabs looking to stay alive as they trail 3-2. The Revs got a big run in the bottom of the 8th inning as an RBI single from John Nunez put York up 3-1 at the time. Here's the pitch. That's away. Count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. One thing that Raul Shah does generally have is a pretty good arm, or pretty good eye, I should say, as to what's a strike and what's not. And the 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, according to the first base umpire, Doug McFarling. It's strike 3 on a pitch up and away. And there are 2 outs. And Braxton Lee comes to the plate. Raul Shah 0 for 4 tonight with 3 strikeouts. He goes down swinging at a pitch a little bit up, probably out of the zone. Unable to drive in Michael Baca from third base. First pitch to Lee, ground ball to second. This will do it. Jeffrey Perez flips to first, and the Blue Crabs are falling in game 2. They could not drive in a runner from third base with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning, who represented the tying run, and the Blue Crabs lose tonight 3-2 to the Revs. This ball game was scoreless until the bottom of the 6th inning when a home run off the bat of Nelly Rodriguez that put York on top 1-0. And the bottom of the 7th inning, York took a 2-0 lead on a sacrifice fly. In the top of the 8th, the Blue Crabs got one back, an RBI double from Zach Collier. And in the top of the 9th inning, Blue Crabs bring in 1. on a ground out from Sundberg that scored a run from third base. But with a runner on third base and one out, Raul Shah couldn't get the job done, and the Blue Crabs fall 3-2. Well, that'll do it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We're going to run through a couple of the pitching numbers first and the box scores. As Alcides Herrera goes 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. He walked 2, he struck out 5. A very impressive performance from the lefty. Nick Wells, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run. And Patrick Baker, an inning, 2 hits, and a run. No strikeouts for either one. For York, it was Eduardo Rivera who went 7 innings. He allowed 7 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, but not a run. Brett DeGust did allow a run. Also allowed 2 hits and a run, and he struck out 2. He also walked 1. Rowdies had a 3-pitch final out in the 8th. The Blue Crabs left runners on 2nd and 3rd. And in the 9th, Jim Fuller struggled, but he ultimately got out of it. A ground out from Braxton Lee to end the ball game as the York Revolution winners tonight 3-2. Blue Crabs 2 runs on 11 hits. Let's run through the box score. Sundberg 1 for 4. He had an RBI, a walk in the game. Raul Shah was 0 for 4. He struck out 3 times. He also walked and scored a run. Braxton Lee 2 for 5 tonight. He was the final out in the ball game. Joe DeLuca 1 for 4. He had a single back in the first inning. Crosby also 1 for 4, also single back in the first. Zach Collier 1 for 3 tonight. He had an RBI on a double to left field that scored the Blue Crabs' first run of the game. Jared Walker 0 for 2. Ian Yetzko 1 for 2. Yetzko had a sacrifice bunt that ended up being a single, and he struck out in a key situation in the 8th inning. Matt Hibbert 3 for 4 tonight. He had a run scored, hitting the ball probably as well as hit the ball all season long. Michael Baca 1 for 4 in tonight's ball game. He had a single in the 9th inning and really started to make some noise, and the Blue Crabs couldn't ultimately come all the way back. Well, that'll do it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. The Blue Crabs fall tonight by a score of 3-2. And we will see you tomorrow evening at 6:30 for the first pitch. Until then, we finish as always with Let's Go Blue Crabs.